Welcome to Insights with Dr. D, where psychology meets empowerment. Join Dr. Dana Prophet as she guides you on a journey to unlock your full potential and create a life you'll love. In each episode, Dr. Prophet brings her unique blend of wisdom, empathy, and humor to the forefront, empowering you with actionable insights and practical tools to navigate life's challenges and help you uncover your best self.
Hello, dear listeners. Today I want to open up about something deeply personal, something that has shaped who I am in profound ways, my journey with autoimmune illness. Now, if you're tuning in and you're an autoimmune warrior yourself, you already know how complex and frustrating and isolating it can be. And if you're listening to someone who doesn't live with chronic illness, stick around. This conversation will give you a glimpse into a world that's rarely talked about openly and honestly. Autoimmune illnesses are a paradox. They force you to grapple with your body attacking itself, and in many cases, they also force you to confront parts of your emotional and psychological self that you've been avoiding. Let me tell you right now, this is not a polished, sugar-coated episode about overcoming autoimmune illnesses and living happily ever after. This is the truth, as raw and as real as it gets. So let's dive in. One of the most overlooked aspects of autoimmune illnesses is how deeply tied they are to the secrets we carry. Now, if you're a warrior, I know that hits you right in the chest. Many autoimmune sufferers, myself included, live with a hidden emotional weight. So let me ask you, what are you hiding? What are you afraid to tell others about? Maybe it's the fact that you're struggling to cope. Maybe you feel ashamed of needing help. Maybe you're comparing your life to a fantasy version of yourself, one where you're healthy and vibrant and free from the constant pain and fatigue. I know I did. And let me tell you, that comparison can eat you alive. It creates anger, resentment, and an overwhelming sense of loss. Dr. John Demartini says the cause of depression is simply comparing your life to a fantasy. If you stop comparing and be grateful for what you have, you won't be depressed anymore. Now, I believe there are other biological reasons one could get depressed, but his explanation can be applied to numerous cases of depression out there. For years, I imagined another version of myself, one that lived a life completely opposite of the one I was living. In this fantasy, I did not have the limitations that my life was giving me. I was living a life that I was comfortable with, that gave me opportunities I didn't have, and that fulfilled all my expectations. The gap between fantasy and reality didn't just make me sad, it made me angry. Angry at my situation, angry at the people I thought put me there, but most of all, angry at myself for letting it happen. That self-directed anger, my friends, was a powerful force. It fueled my stress, it inflamed my emotions, and no surprise, it inflamed my body too. You know, here's the thing about anger, stress, and unresolved emotions. They don't just stay in your mind. They find their way into your body. For me, my anger wasn't just an emotion. It was a trigger. My body became a breeding ground for autoimmune illness, a perfect host for all of that negativity to manifest physically. And once autoimmune diseases set up camp in your body, they don't like to stay in one place. They're like dominoes. One disease falls, then another, and then another. For me, it started with one diagnosis and quickly snowballed into multiple autoimmune diseases: chronic inflammatory, demyelinating polyneuropathy, lupus, psoriatic arthritis. Each one brought its own set of challenges, but they all shared a common thread. My body was at war with itself, and it all started with my emotions. Let's talk about anger for a moment. If you're dealing with autoimmune disease, chances are you got a lot of it. And I get it. It's justified. You're angry at your body for betraying you. You're angry at the people who don't understand what you're going through. You're angry at a world that wasn't designed to accommodate chronic illness. You used to be carefree, full of energy, and untouched by the struggles of chronic illness. You could do anything, be anyone without limits. But the reality? It is filled with doctor's appointments, medication schedules, and an endless wave of physical and emotional pain. But here's the truth. Anger, when left unresolved, keeps you in a state of hyperinflammation, emotionally, mentally, and biologically. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire and wondering why it won't go out. The hard truth is, until you resolve that anger, you'll stay stuck in a cycle of pain and resentment. So let me ask you again, what are you angry about? And how can you begin to let it go? Another thing we autoimmune sufferers need to talk about is the victim mentality. Now, this is a tricky one because, let's face it, we are victims in many ways. We didn't choose to have these illnesses, and they've stolen things from us, our energy, our freedom, our sense of normalcy. But when we stay in that victim mindset, we become myopic. We focus only on how we hurt, how no one believes us, and how no one understands how bad it is. And here's the kicker. The people around us get tired of hearing it. They don't live in our bodies, so they cannot truly understand. But they do notice when we become consumed by our illness, and sometimes they pull away. It's not fair, but it's reality. And we have all seen it with spouses, partners, family, and friends. If we're going to create a life worth living, we have to break out of the victim mentality. And here's the good news. Autoimmune illnesses don't have to define you. Yes, it's part of your story, but it's not the whole story. The key to living a fulfilling life with chronic illness is to rebuild a new, healthy, positive identity that encompasses your illness without being consumed by it. For me, this meant finding a way to move beyond my anger and resentment. I had to stop comparing my life to the fantasy version of myself and start embracing who I was in the present moment. That meant acknowledging my limitations without letting them dictate my worth. It meant giving myself grace on the hard days and celebrating the small victories on the good ones. As we are discussing today, emotions like anger, stress, and resentment just don't live in our mind. They manifest in your body, contributing to inflammation and worsening symptoms. But here's the good news. You can take back control. You can build a better quality of life for yourself. And my masterclass, The Link Between Emotions and Illness, is here to help you do just that. In this online masterclass, we uncover how emotions affect your somatic system and provide actionable tools to break the cycle of emotional and physical overwhelm. Whether you're living with chronic illness, caring for someone who is, or even working in healthcare, this masterclass will guide you step by step to uncover the connections between your emotions and your health. You'll learn how to communicate your needs, navigate grief, rediscover your identity and personality type, and even practice mindfulness techniques like meditation and active imagination. Plus, we'll explore boundaries, how to set them, reinforce them, and protect your energy. So, if you're ready to experience a better quality of life and take back control of your wellness, visit drdanaprofit.com/emotions to learn more and enroll now. That's drdanaprofit.com/emotions. Now, let's talk about the good that can come from living with autoimmune illness. Yes, you heard me right. There's good in this too. It's easy to get caught up in the negative aspects of chronic illness, but if you can shift your perspective, you'll find that it also brings unexpected gifts. The first being compassion and empathy. Living with chronic illness makes you more understanding of others' struggles. You know what it's like to suffer in silence, and that makes you a kinder, more empathetic person. It gives you patience and presence. Autoimmune illnesses force you to slow down. Life moves at a different pace, and while that can be frustrating, it also gives you the opportunity to be more present in your moments and with your body. Next, like I just said, body awareness. When you're chronically ill, you become deeply in tune with your body. You learn to listen to its signals, honor its needs, and appreciate its resilience. So how do you start rebuilding your identity and creating a life that feels good, even with autoimmune illness? Here's a few steps that have helped me. Resolve your anger. Take an honest look at what you're angry about. Write it down, talk to a therapist, or share it with a trusted friend. And then find a way to let it go, whether it's through forgiveness, acceptance, or simply deciding not to carry it anymore. Shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on what you've lost, focus on what you still can do. Celebrate the small wins, like getting out of bed on a tough day or finding moments of joy in the midst of pain. Build your tribe. Find people who understand what you're going through. Whether it's a support group, an online community, or a few close friends, having a tribe makes all the difference. You know who I like to talk to? Facebook groups. People on those pages know exactly what you're going through, and they are the best cheerleaders anywhere. Practice self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself. Chronic illness is hard, and you are doing the best you can. Treat yourself with the same kindness and care you would offer a loved one. I had a friend once tell me to be kind to myself, and I didn't realize I was trying to push through life so hard, and I needed to hear it. And maybe you do too. Be kind to yourself. And finally, embrace the present. Stop comparing your life to the one you thought you'd have. Instead, focus on making the most of your life you have now. Living with autoimmune illness is one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's also taught me some of the most valuable lessons in my life. It's taught me to slow down, to listen to my body, and to appreciate the beauty in the small moments. It's taught me to be kinder to myself and more compassionate toward others. And most importantly, it's taught me that while chronic illness may be part of my story, it doesn't define who I am. It gives me the opportunity to help others in the same boat. So, to my fellow autoimmune warriors, you're not alone. You're stronger than you think, and your life is still full of possibilities. Let's shed the anger, the resentment, and the victim mentality. Let's build something new, something beautiful. You've got this, and I'm right here with you.